We're coming here into the live stream at the right time. Love 40, 5-all, 3 breakpoint chances for Sinner. Ace from Struff. First breakpoint chance saved. He's got a name that I mispronounce. I pronounce it wrong on purpose, Americanize it. So I'll just say it German. That way I get it right. Another ace from Struff. Second breakpoint chance saved. 30-40. We're going to get into a deep analysis of Jan Lennart. Here's a second serve. Here's a second serve. Let's see what he does on this one. Sinner with the inside out return winner. And he breaks. Wow. He will serve for the set. We're going to keep an eye on Pegula Golf as well. Pegula up a break. So here's the thing. Jan Lennart Struff is an absolute baller. 36 years old. You know, reaching the quarterfinals of Wimbledon for the first time. That's a huge success. You know, deserves a lot of respect. Jan Lennart has been on tour for a long time. And you would think that a guy like this, you know, would be ranked top 20, top 10. So there's like, this requires a deeper like explanation and insight and things that I probably have no idea about to try to explain why Struff hasn't had better results. But the fact is that Struff possesses the type of game that can challenge the best players in the world. This guy is so good that he was able to make it into the Madrid final from the qualies and take a set off Alcaraz in 2023. And you can't just take a set off of Alcaraz on clay in Madrid unless you possess incredible skills. Last year, I think Struff was outside of the top 100, made it into the third round of Wimbledon, and took a set off Alcaraz again. Made his life miserable out there. He then made the fourth round of the US Open last year, so, you know, he improved his ranking. So, again, I can't really tell you why Struff hasn't been consistent. I feel like he's one of these guys in the top 100 that should have had a higher career high ranking. Like, I mean, why not top 10, but at least top 20? But in any case, the reason why he's so dangerous, even for Sinner and Alcaraz, is that he can take the racket out of their hands. And that's the best tactic to employ because, you know, first and foremost, from the baseline, most players are going to be at a disadvantage against both of them. So it makes sense from that standpoint, but also from a rhythm standpoint. Sinner 30 love on his serve. Looks like he's going to comfortably serve out this set. But from a rhythm standpoint, you know, even Sinner at this tournament, he's not in his rhythm quite yet. You know, he's probably going to reach his top level in the next match, which will be the semifinal, if he ends up winning this. And then in the final, I think Jannik, if he makes it through the semifinal, he'll find his best tennis. But most likely, there's no guarantees ever. But the way Struff plays, which is basically a very aggressive style, he comes to the net a lot. Now, in that Madrid tournament in 2023, he served and volleyed first and second serve almost exclusively against Alcaraz in that final. That'll break your rhythm. And he can play very aggressive on the return as well. Rip returns. You know, he'll make a lot of errors, but he will destroy the rhythm. He'll take Jannik's and Carlos's racket out of their hands. And it's a phenomenal strategy that I'm wondering why not more players employ when they face Sinner and Alcaraz. For example, Ben Shelton. You know, it's not the time and the place to talk about Ben Shelton versus Sinner, but in some of those matchups, Shelton gets stuck in too many baseline rallies. Zverev-Sinner matchup. You know, Zverev tried in Indian Wells to play more like Struff plays, but it doesn't come natural to both of those guys, but that's what it'll take. And Struff has that. He knows how to play this kind of old school power tennis, you know, that we've seen a lot in the 90s. It's very dependent on his serve. And this is extremely effective against Jannik. And prior to this match, I thought that Jannik is going to win in 3 tight sets. And, you know, he served this game out quite comfortably, Jannik. But this was a tight set. As I was setting up this disaster, and what happened was yesterday, or the last 3 or 4 days, I had like some quality issues. The quality kept dropping on the stream, so I did a lot of work trying to improve the quality of the stream so it doesn't lag and all that. So I did that yesterday, but while I was doing all this stuff, I had erased a lot of my stream settings. So when I jumped on here on time, by the way, there was nothing there, no scoreboard, nothing. So it took me a little while to set everything up. But as I was doing that, I was keeping an eye on this match. And Struff had, I'm going to tell you how many. He had 1, 2, 3. He had 3 love holds in this set. 3 love holds. And that's what's required against Jannik Sinner. Now, it still didn't work because Jannik Sinner, you know, got into that service game at 5-all. You know, got love 40. Then Jan-Lennart hit a couple of aces and then missed the first serve, hit a second serve kick, and Jannik Sinner just ripped inside-out forehand winner. So it's not that this strategy will work against Jannik, but it can certainly put you in a good position. So I expect Jan-Lennart to continue to play like this. Potentially, Jannik is going to loosen up now and maybe, you know, create more break opportunities, and it'll be more comfortable in the next 2 sets. But as I've said prior to the match, I envision 3 tight sets here. Jan-Lennart with this quarterfinal run will find himself ranked 40 in the world. So that's nice to see. You know, maybe he can get on a roll now. And let's check real quick what his career high is. I think it's something in the 20s, 20-something, if I remember correctly. 21 is career high. So he's never been top 20. So, like similar to Kirstea, at the late stage of her career, she's achieved a career high ranking, and I'm envisioning this for Jan-Lennart too. I want him to get on a roll, and I want him to now use this high ranking. He's going to get into every tournament. No need to play challengers anymore, and just get into the top 20 before you finish off your career. That's how highly I value Jan-Lennart. I think he's a big-time player. So we shall see how he performs here in the second set. And whether there's a level drop-off, could easily happen, you know. He starts with a double fault, then follows it up with an ace. Now, how's everybody doing in here, guys? Night Rush is in here. Anna. We got True Tennis Vibe in here. Reba's in here. A lot of this. I don't know if you guys are Sinner fans. I don't want to put that on you, but I know True Tennis Vibe is a Sinner fan. I know that. The long rally here at 15-all. Jan-Lennart comes in, hits an overhead, but Jannik gets it back. Another overhead, and he misses it. 15-30. I'm not listening to the commentary, but I'm sure they're discussing the heat today. What is it, like 34 Celsius right now in London? Nick, match of the day yesterday, Ferry Dimitro. Feel sorry for Grigor. Yeah, that was for sure the match of the day, yeah. Crazy match. I talked about it in my wrap-up. which came out much later than normal. It came out 5 a.m. this morning. You guys can check that out. I talked about women's matches, which were interesting. I talked about Ferry Dimitrov. What else? And here's a break point opportunity for Sinner. 30-40. Serving volley from Struff. Return from Yannick, almost like a miss hit. Creates a super tricky ball, low ball. And Struff misses the volley, and it's 30-40. It's not a good start here. Long rally, Yannick putting pressure on Struff, dictating play. What happened here? They cut the point off. Something flew through the court. What was that? What was that? Oh, he dropped the ball out of his pocket. Okay, so the rule is the first time that happens, it's a replay. The second time it happens, you lose the point. So it's a replay to point right here. Kind of fortunate for Struff because he delivered a monster serve to save break point, back to deuce. Okay, so let me kind of continue with what I started with here with this type of tactic of playing aggressive tennis, keeping the point short, trying to not give a guy like Sinner any rhythm. The problem with this strategy is that Jannik Sinner overhits the lob there, game point Struff. The problem with the strategy is that, first and foremost, it doesn't come natural to a lot of players, especially someone like Zverev, who's a high percentage player. This does not come natural to him, so he doesn't like playing this way. So that's number one. And also, it's not so easy to pull off, right? So it's risky. You are increasing the risk. And you can actually play horrible tennis, similar to how Zverev played in Indian Wells. He did not have a good match there. Struff ends up holding this game. Kind of fortunate because he was in that rally when he dropped that ball out of his pocket. I don't know if he would have won that rally. I doubt it. But yeah, you come out here with the right strategy against Sinner, and you can play horrible tennis. But that's where these guys would need to understand that that's the only way, and it's the correct way. And it might result in losing like 2-3 and 1 or something. And then understand that this is the only way. Because what they're facing is a guy that can be unbeatable. I think the Roland Garros tournament has humanized Jannik to a certain extent. I think this started actually in Rome. But prior to Rome, if you guys remember, and maybe even in the indoor season, Jannik Sinner was, he looked unbeatable, to be honest with you. And players were without any chance to do anything in the matches. Just think about the semifinal in Madrid. Fils, who was playing so well up to that point, no chance. And then Zverev in the final. Like, that's top-level Sinner. And it requires something extraordinary to beat a guy like that. Someone that's like dominating all the statistics. He's number one in the serve statistics, number one in the return statistics, number one in shot quality on forehand and backhand. Although those numbers fluctuate a little bit when Alcaraz is there. To beat a guy like that, who's also like the most clutch player, it's going to require something extraordinary. Like, your regular game is just not going to be enough. Now, in Rome, Sinner showed that you know, he's not a robot. You know, there was some interesting things happening in the Rublev match. It's mostly physical stuff. And then the Medvedev match was, I think, the beginning of what happened in Roland Garros. It's, again, I'm going to repeat it again. It wasn't the heat. Yes, Jannik Sinner can have problems in the heat, but as Jannik Sinner said, and due to some of the statements that he's made in Italian, what they found out and the solutions that they're applying, even though they said there's really nothing you can do, but they understand what happened. And it doesn't sound from that like it was the heat. It had anything to do with the heat. And that started, in my opinion, in Rome, where it wasn't hot. It was like 22 Celsius or something. And if you remember that, Rublev, Sinner had a collapse in that match. I mean, it was dominating. There was no chance for Rublev. It was like, it seemed like Rublev was out there collecting games. It was like 6-1, 4-1 or something. And then came that physical collapse. Didn't last long, a couple of games. And then Sinner ended up coming through that match. Nobody really noticed it or talked about it. And then against Medvedev came like just a complete collapse. And the fact that Sinner made it through that match was incredible. Like one of his most impressive victories, because he was down and out in that match, big time, if you remember it. And he ended up winning that one. The final was okay. It was pretty good, physically speaking. So in my opinion, it's a combination of, I don't really know, but it surely has a mental component to, you know, pressure component. And yeah, I think that did have an effect on how people are talking about Jannik in the media, because now everybody's talking about the heat. You know, anytime it's even, I'm sure today people are talking about, oh, you know, it's hot out here in London. Jannik Sinner is not going to do well. He's had so many problems in the heat. Da da da. It's just kind of humanized Jannik, the Rome tournament and Roland Garros. So I think if Jannik wins this tournament, if he does well on the hard courts, if he continues where he left off, you know, on clay, if he then does the same thing in indoors what he did last year, I think then people are going to be like, okay, you know, you know what, like maybe we don't have a chance. But I'm telling you, like this is a thing. Now people are like saying more likely, oh, you know, I don't know if Sinner is going to win this. Whether it's going to be hot in London, I don't know. He might lose to this guy. He might lose to that guy. Like whatever happened at the end of that clay court season has put doubts in people's heads regarding Jannik. So that's that. Struff serving 15-30. It's a mini window right here for Jannik. Let's see what he can do. Struff with more problems on his serve in the second set compared to the first set. We was delivered 3 love holds, very dominant on his serve there. Pegula up a break on Goff, 5-3. That's a beautiful return from Sinner into Struff's feet. 15-40. That's the danger of coming to the net against Jannik. It's the correct thing to do against Jannik, you know, come in off of good shots and all that. But, you know, Jannik is the best passer in the game. That's why I give so much respect to Mochizuki, the way he played. He won 83% of net points against Jannik, came in, I think, 40 times. That was incredibly impressive. But yeah, I mean, you come in, but you better be unbelievably skilled up there, and the athleticism has got to be off the charts. Because here again, another serve volley from Struff, and Jannik with a very low return. Jan Lennart misses the volley into the net, and there's a break. '90s on Friday. Sinner is cooked for the semis. That's what I mean. Like, this has become a narrative now. A big narrative with Sinner. And it says we wouldn't be talking about it if he didn't give a reason to talk about it. It's happened a few times now. Sorry, I gotta say it. I don't think he talked about it. People are putting words in Yannick's mouth. Yannick said after he had that collapse against Rundalo, it wasn't that bad out there regarding the heat. That's literally what he said. I don't remember Yannick ever complaining about the heat. Like, I don't know. Look, does he have problems in the heat? Yeah, certainly he does. There's, I think, 4 examples of heat-related issues on the court. So yeah, it's certainly has been an issue here and there, but just in regards to that period of time, what I spent like 10 minutes talking about, Roland Garros, there's something else there. It's maybe pressure related. I don't really know. It's a guessing game for me, but I'm just going by the information I collected from the Italian media, Sinner's team. They know what happened. They know exactly what happened, and from what I can discern, it's kind of hard. There's nothing really they can do about it, but they know what happened. They're working on it. They're hopeful that it's not going to happen again. And I don't think the heat has anything to do with it. Love 15 on the Sinner serve. Pegula serving for the first set, 30-15. I don't speak Italian. I unfortunately no. I translate it. I find an article and I copy it and I put it in Google Translate, and it's not perfect. So, but I guess there's a lot more information about Yannick in Italy compared to just in general, you know. So I read a few articles in regards to his visit to the hospital, and then he actually revealed a few things in Italian in a press conference. And so obviously there was no, I couldn't understand it. So I had to get the transcript, and then I translated the transcript. So it's not perfect, but what I can to find the information out, you know. And I also have some friends that are Italian, you know. I do have some Italian friends, a couple of Italian students too. Yannick with a very strong serve out wide, and then forehand blast from the half court, 30-all. You know, that's something that Djokovic is so good at, Yannick is so good at. It's like these key moments in a service game where it's like 15-30, you know, 30-all. It doesn't really show up in the stats, but that's when the first serves come out. That's when the percentages are high. That's when the placement is good. That's what makes them so good. You know, that's these little things is what wins you matches. Very athletic overhead from Yannick. That was not easy. Good rally from Struff here, putting a lot of pressure on Yannick, ripping forehands. And he manages to overpower Yannick, and it's 30-40 break point for Struff. What a rally from Struff, just pounding the ball into the center backhand corner, eventually overpowering him. That's a good question. Did you already witness this kind of crazy energy collapse ever on a tennis court prior to Sinner at Roland Garros? No, I've never seen anything like that in my life. Never. Because I think it's more gradual when it happens. It's not like so suddenly losing all your energy. I've never seen it like that. I've never seen that. Never seen it with students. Never seen it when I played. Never seen it watching professional tennis. Not quite like that. Of course, you see people with full body cramps and stuff like that. But that specific thing that happened was kind of odd, you know? And Struff breaks back. Incredible. This guy is a baller. You know, here's the thing with Sinner that's interesting in this tournament. I'll always track his serve numbers, and the serve percentages have been good, and I think he's been serving well. A lot of aces too, especially in the first 2 rounds. Of course, those matches were longer, so more chances to add to the ace count. But you know, he's served well, but the whole game hasn't been top notch from Sinner. He's dropped his serve quite a bit, especially in that Brooksby match. There were some really weird breaks of serve in that third set. And even something like this here, he breaks and then loses his serve right away. In the first set against Kecmanovic, he was 40 love on his serve at 4-all, dropped his serve. So the hold game from Sinner has been a lot weaker than normal. And I do expect him to clean that up. He'll need to clean that up if he plays Djokovic. Strong hitting from Struff. 40 love. Pegula wins the first set against Goff. And there's from 40 love to 40-30. Backhand inside out miss from Struff. Sinner would have not gotten to that ball, but Struff got a little jammed on that backhand. Did you hear FAA comments on the Fokina match? Yeah, I heard it. Nice hold there from Jan Lennart. What a turnaround in the second set. Playing some exceptional tennis. Jeff says Goff is making so many unforced errors. She might lose this in straights. Yeah, I got Pegula coming through this one. Not only this one, but I got Pegula and Noskova in the final. Coco against Pegula on grass is an underdog, I think. You know, and it's I think 5-3 Pegula overall in the head-to-head. But grass is going to be the worst surface to play Pegula for Goff. Pegula is so underrated on grass. You know, because the results haven't been that great. Like last year, she lost in the first round. But Pegula hits the ball so clean. He hits it so long, so low. And the most underrated part of Pegula's service, of her game, is her serve. People never really think of Pegula as a great server. But this season, I would have to familiarize myself with the stats again, but she's top 5 aces, total aces this season, Pegula. In the final against Noskova in Berlin, I think Pegula had like maybe 14 aces or something like that. I would have to look at the stats. She crazy high ace count in that match. So she is good on grass, really, really good on grass, Pegula. I mean, obviously good on other surfaces too, but I think grass is Pegula's best surface and her best chance to win a Grand Slam. So nice return from Jan-Lennart there. What a rally there. Started with that return, which he was able to hit with a great angle across court. Put Yannick off the court. 15-all. Second serve from Sinner. Fortunate there that second serve clips the net, but goes in. Slice approach shot from Jan-Lennart. A great lob from Yannick. And what a rally. Look at Jan-Lennart with the skills. First off, excellent lob from Yannick there. Jan-Lennart barely got to that one. Sinner had a really easy ball to put away from inside the service line, but hit the forehand right into the Struff racket. And Struff with some incredible hands. They're nice half volley and then a reflex volley right after that. This guy is some player. Old school player to me. It's like an old school power player. Big return there from Struff. Big forehand again. Sinner with good defense. And Jan-Lennart overhits the forehand. But again, it's the right way to play against Sinner. You got to rip. You just got to rip. And it might cause a lot of mistakes, but that's the correct way to do it. 30-all. You know, there's certain things that you can do when you rip to make it more high percentage, but you got to rip. Like in this particular match, Struff is ripping into the backhand corner of Sinner. Reasons for that, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's his preference to direct his forehand into that side. Don't really see how, you know, ripping there would draw errors from Sinner. I almost feel like the forehand, it's like the one that produces a few more errors sometimes. Not every time, but certainly in this tournament. You know, the forehand from Sinner has been not at the normal level. The beautiful forehand passing shot from Struff. Cross-court passing shot winner from Struff on the run. Excellent tennis. 40-all. Ace, center, down the tee on deuce. Add in. Second serve, center. Hey, Franklin. Good to see you in here. Double fault center, back to deuce. Teppo says heat is getting to center. Good morning, sleep mirror. By the way, how crazy is it that it's so hot in London for the entire 2 weeks? Like, I can't get over that. That's insane. Again, same ace from center down the tee. Another add in. Oh, thanks, Anna. I appreciate it. Which tribute to Federer and Nadal did you watch? Because I've done several different ones. That's a nice second serve from Yannick there. Very heavy kicker. Hold Yannick 3-all. Oh, the reaction to Nadal's retirement. Yeah, I think I've done several of those, but I remember that one specific one. Yeah, and I've done one for Federer too, for sure. Low 15. Let's see if Sinner can strike here and get the break back. Big serve there down the tee from Jan Lennart. 15-all. Another monster serve from Jan Lennart. 137 on that one. 30-15. Did it ever rain last year? You know, I don't remember actually, but I don't know. My memory tells me it's like it was sunny. I don't remember if it was hot or not, but I think it was sunny last year. I remember the semifinals were sunny, right? Djokovic, Sinner, and then it was Fritz Alcaraz. Seemed sunny, and the final was sunny too. But I don't remember the first week, 2 weeks. Nice hold there from Jan Lennart. Excellent hold. Some big serves. Up 4-3 in the second set. Looks like the second set's going to be tricky too, just like the first. Pegula won the first set 6-4, 1-all in the second. Coco Gauff just hit a 126-mile-an-hour ace. That's insane for WTA. 126-mile-an-hour ace, guys. That's incredibly fast. Ace down to T. Deuce side. Another monster serve from Coco Gauff, 119. Very, very impressive tennis from Coco Gauff there. Those last 2 points. Incredibly impressive. Great athleticism. Okay, Jeff, thank you for that. Gauff, 6 double faults and winning 37% second serve points. Yeah. That's Coco's issue still. I thought it was solved because she had very low double fault numbers in Rome, where she made the final, where she lost to Svitolina. But then the double faults crept back in that particular match against Svitolina. And actually, towards the end of the first set, they crept back in. And they've been a problem since then. But there were no problem for Coco. Like she almost lost to Jovic there in Rome. She was down match points. And that match, she only had I think 2 double faults in the whole match. So it's still a big problem for her, you know, confidence-wise. Oh yeah, DB, I remember that too. Back in the day, before the roof, there was a nightmare to watch Wimbledon sometimes. So many rain delays. It was an absolute nightmare. Even that year when Ivanišević won, there were so many rain delays that year. Often they would, I don't know if it was often, but I even remember them finishing on Mondays and stuff like that. But yeah, the weather is changing big time, I think. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I'm just going by what it feels like to me. Sinner, 30 love. Yes, Sasha, I remember watching from the sidelines. It's okay, but I prefer watching it from behind. That's my preference. That to me is the best angle. Big forehand from Jan Lennart again, backhand slice. He comes to the net. Surprises Yannick with that approach. Like he just exploded up to the net. This guy is a phenomenal player. Hits the slice and just explodes in there. Completely catches Sinner off guard. Because Sinner responds to the slice with the slice. What a play right there. Old school play. I mean, how often do you see plays like this nowadays? Very infrequently. That's a big ace from Yannick right there down the tee. 4-all. Yeah, and Djokovic is, I mean, Zverev is going to be second on center court before Djokovic, yes. Yep. You think Yannick Novak would be the first or second match? Would it just be 50-50? Like you mean if they play like in the second round? Is that what you mean, David? Yeah, I don't think I need to do a double stream today. I think this will be over. I mean, Pegula and Goff is in the second set, so I think Sinner will be over before Djokovic steps foot on the court. So no need for a double stream today. Oh, okay, David. Let's see. What were you saying? Do you think Yannick Novak would be the first? Oh, I got you. The first or second match. I got you. I don't know, actually. I was thinking about that, actually. If Yannick plays Novak, would they be first on that day or second? I don't know. I prefer them to be second. But it's not always the case. Like, if Novak plays like Sinner or Alcaraz in the semis, sometimes it's first. Couldn't tell you now where or when, but I just remember it being first sometimes. It's an excellent return there from Sinner. Off a kick from Struff. 30-all. Sinner broke Struff's serve at 5-all in the first set. Let's see if he can do it again here late in the set. He already broke the Struff serve early in the set, but then dropped his serve immediately. Broke at 1-all. But then dropped his serve, and here's 30-40. A forehand rip from Struff into the forehand side, this time from Sinner, and Struff overhits the forehand long. 30-40. That is a monster serve from Jan Lennart there down the tee. And Cahill clapping. That's classy right there, clapping for the opponent. Struff saves break point. Back to deuce. A big serve from Jan Lennart there. Add in. Jannik Sinner shanks a forehand. Don't know if he necessarily shanks it, but definitely off center. Close to the frame or on the frame. Misses it wide. Struff holds 5-4. Pegula Goff on serve in the second set, 3-2 Goff. First set for Pegula, 6-4. 30-all in this game. Let's see if Coco here can get the break point. Pegula so tough. So tough. For sure, off the ground, maybe even on the return of serve, although that's a little bit different, but for sure, off the ground, Jannik Sinner's forehand has been off. Hard to know why, but for sure not at the normal level. I can understand like shanks, miss hits, especially early. You know, getting used to the grass and all that, but I don't know. It could be confidence. It's hard to say. That's why it's interesting though. Struff is ripping into the backhand side off Sinner, and it's been working quite well in this match. Although, you know, Sinner's forehand has been the one that has been a problem in some of the matches. But here, Struff again pounding into the backhand side of Sinner and gets an error. Love 15. Very strong from Yannick. Deep return from Jan-Lennart. Yannick Sinner moving backwards and hits a forehand winner inside out, 15-all. Oh, Jan-Lennart is leading Wimbledon in aces this year, 107, and Bublik is second, 104. Nice. Yannick will probably win that stat by the tournament's over. I'm sure Yannick will win that stat by the time. I mean, it's like, you know, total aces is not the most reliable thing. It's like, depends on match length and how many matches are played. Aces per match or aces in one match, that to me would be like a more significant thing to look at. I think that's Bublik is number one there, right? With 48, that was the most. Great play there from Jan-Lennart. You know, hit the backhand return, came into the net off of it. Like a bunt and charge, and put a lot of pressure on Yannick there. That's an old school point right there. That's a Jimmy Connors style point. You know, taking that return early, just coming to the net off of it. Excellent tennis. Second serve for Yannick. Oh, I was light on the first. I'm sorry. Second serve, Yannick. And Struff with the same play again, and it works again. Can you believe it? It's old school tennis. Didn't even hit the return well, but it worked. It's a lot of pressure having to come up with a backhand passing shot at 30-all. 30-40. Break point chance. No, actually set point. Set point for Jan-Lennart Struff. Big serve from Yannick right there. Wow, that must feel good. Being able to pull that out when you need it. That must feel good. Set point down, you deliver that monster serve out wide. Ace for Sinner out wide. Add in. A lot of Struff fans in here in the chat. It's nice to see. Support for Struff and 3 monster serves in a row from Yannick. This time again out wide. He holds 5-all. Yannick won the first set 7-5, broke serve at 5-all in the first set. Now Jan-Lennart again serving at 5-all. Let's see if Sinner can do damage here. Second serve. Second serve. Yannick with a forehand return to the backhand, but a rip from Struff with the forehand. He's ripping the forehand hard today. Dumps one into the net though. Low 15. Bricklayer says Sinner is off the ground is pretty bad today. Unusually barely seen a winner from him. You know what it is, Bricklayer? Is that Struff is ripping. He's not like giving him that many chances to dictate play. Struff is like ripping from the baseline. It's blasting forehands. I would love to see average shot speed. Who's higher? I don't know. It looks to me like Struff is hitting harder than Yannick. (30-15), unforced error on the backhand side for Sinner. Second serve for Struff. Chance here for Sinner to do something with the return. And not the greatest return from Yannick. Landed around the service line, but Jan Lennart with the backhand error into the net. 30-all. Second serve again from Jan Lennart. Chance here for Yannick to do something with the return. Big second serve from Struff there and a forehand down the line winner. That second serve was big, 111. That's fast for a second serve. And return wasn't clean from Yannick. The sound wasn't clean. It's off center. 40-30. And ace Struff 6-5, as I expected. Tight sets. These guys haven't played each other in a while, but the last time they played was 7-6 in the third for Sinner in Halle on a very fast grass court. Before that, they played a couple other times. Yannick won both times in straight sets there, but yeah. This is a tough opponent, Struff. He plays Alcaraz well. He plays Sinner well. It's quite impressive. Now, at the U.S. Open, though, he didn't play well against Djokovic. Djokovic is a whole different story altogether. Have you ever been in Australia, Nick? No, I've never been to Australia. You know, I lived in Hawaii for a couple of years, and since it's like closer, I was thinking about going to New Zealand and Australia, but then I ended up moving from Hawaii. So yeah, I feel like that was my opportunity to go, but I didn't. Would like to eventually. There's a lot of Croatians that live in Australia. Golf broke 5-3 in the second set, but it's 15-30 though. Ace Sinner, 15 love. Looks like we might be going into a tiebreak in the second set. Yeah, Leonard hits a slice out of nowhere, like a rally with a lot of ripping, backhand to backhand cross court, and then all of a sudden the guy just chops a slice and purposely pulls Yannick Sinner forward. Again, like the tactics of Struff are so good, so old school. And Yannick Sinner overhits the backhand approach shot. 15-0. But again, the serve has been rock solid from Sinner in this whole tournament. Not necessarily talking about the whole game in itself, because that involves other things, but the serve and just the serve alone has been very, very good. If it wasn't for the serve, I don't think Yannick would be here in the quarterfinals, to be honest. But it's an unfair comment because the serve is the most important thing in the game. The serve and the return. That's what every point starts with. So I don't like when people say that, oh, if it wasn't for the serve, blah, blah, blah. Or we call people serve bots and stuff. I don't think it's fair because obviously serve is a huge part of tennis. 40-15. Yannick goes down the line with the backhand but sprays wide. 40-30. For sure, the ground game of Sinner is not like, it's nowhere near his top level. I think we all can see it. It's not as many winners. It's more mistakes. Here's a question. What if Yannick Sinner doesn't improve his baseline game? Like, if he keeps playing like this, but continues to serve the way he has been, can he win Wimbledon? Answer is yes. Because that kind of has been the case in Indian Wells and Miami. And I even made a video on it. I don't think he was playing that great from the baseline in Indian Wells or Miami, but he still won both tournaments. So even if he doesn't reach his top level on the forehand and the backhand, he can still win this whole thing. He can still beat Djokovic and beat whoever comes to the final. And Struff starts the tiebreak off with an ace. Big serve there from Yannick. Out wide, 1-all. I got to tell you though, unfortunately, I'm with this. This is unbelievable. I'm with the actual TV coverage. I don't have a designated stream for some reason. I don't know why. Usually you do, but towards the end of the tournament, they always flip it, and it's like, in the beginning, it's the BBC stream. Sometimes there's no commentary. Sometimes there's very gentle commentary, and that's perfect. What I got going on in my ear, this whole match, I got it on the lowest volume, but it's relentless talking. It's non-stop. It's relentless. It's unbelievable. I do want to hear the match though, but it's I can't even hear what they're saying, but they're talking non-stop. And people hate that, that if they're watching it on TV, they don't like that. They do not like that. Sinner 2-1. There's a backhand error from Struff. Mini break, Sinner, 3-1. Unforced error from Jan Lennart there. 4 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 Lennart there. Big serve from Struff there. He comes to the net. Half volley with two hands and knocks off the high forehand volley. 3-2. That's a great point, DB. Guess what? Without serve, Federer wouldn't have won 8 times at Wimbledon nor Sampras. Exactly. Without the serve, Djokovic would be like not even in the top 100 right now. It's like such a stupid thing to say, and that's why I hate when they call players serve bots and all. I don't like that at all. And as a coach too, like, the serve is often the thing that gets worked on the least. Like the last 5 minutes of a practice are designated for the serve. And it's so important to spend time on the serve. A lot of time. And the return. The return is also often ignored, you know. Sinner takes care of his serve. Still up a mini break, 4-2. Ace, Sinner out wide, 5-2. Oh, that's a great pass there from Pegula. She's up 1-love in the third, 30-all on the golf serve. It's a great passing shot for Pegula. 30-40. It's a big serve from Jelena there, 130. 5-3 Sinner. It's a monster serve there from Jelena, 135. 5-4. Sinner with 2 serves to finish out this set. Will he be able to do that? It's a big question. Will Jannik take over serve here and serve out this first set? It certainly does. Monster serve down the tee, close to the line. Jelena cannot get the ball back in play. Set point, 6-4. Second serve Sinner, first serve wide. It was long. Sinner wins the second set. Takes care of the tiebreak. 7-4. And a very tight match so far. Tight 2 sets. 7-5, 7-6. I'll be right back, guys. Gauff off a break in the third set, 2-1. Look, I don't think this has been a high-level match so far. I wouldn't say it's been a high-level match, but it's been a tactically sound match from Jan Lennart. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. And as a result, he's made 2 tight sets with Jannik. Jannik's still too clutch. Jan Lennart, you can make the argument, not clutch enough. You know, there were some mistakes in that second set tiebreak. Some mistakes in that game where he got broken in the first set at 5-all. So, you know, you can't allow yourself any hiccups in important stages. But again, tactically, the right way to play Jannik. And, you know, you could say that he's responsible for the little bit higher error count on Jannik, but then again, not necessarily for every single error. Some errors certainly, but there was also some like just uncharacteristic errors from Jannik. You know, of balls that weren't really pressuring him that much. So Jannik's still looking for his top game. He's not quite there yet. Unfortunately, we're off the match now. I don't know what's going on, but Sinner's off the court. And he's coming back on the court here. I wish I had a designated stream for this match. I will try to find it, so I don't have to watch the broadcast. It's been very frustrating working with this ESPN app because it appears that once we get to the late stage of the tournament, they don't. I'm telling you, once you get to the late stages, and I got the highest package, I got ESPN Unlimited, you don't get a designated stream anymore because it's just a broadcast. Because they go from court to court, they're back in the studio now. This is not a designated stream, it's just like the camera there on the court or several cameras, and you don't leave the court ever, even on the changeovers. That's what I like, but this certainly is not what's happening right now. Whatever I clicked on here, the, you know, Sinner versus Struff thumbnail, it's just like clicking on ESPN, same thing. They're showing Pegula Gauff right now. How about Gauff winning Wimbledon? What do you guys think about that? Sinner, 15 love. We got multi-screen here, unfortunately. Good looking rally there from Jannik, really ripping the forehand. Especially that down the line forehand looked really good from Jannik. Forces the error from Struff. 40 love. Gauff 3-1 in the third. Wow. Wow. Bricklayer could see the Gauff winning. Yeah, you can make the argument for Gauff. She's incredible. Can you imagine if she wins? It'll be the third major, third different one. Incredible. Love hold from Sinner. Good start to the third set. Sinner looking fresh. Looking good physically. In the heat. rally on the first point of Struff service game and another forehand error from Jannik on this particular one. It was a low ball. He just simply didn't lift it enough. Dumps the forehand into the net. 15 love. Why am I on ESPN? Beautiful down the line backhand from Jan Lennart. 30 love. There's nowhere else to watch Wimbledon than ESPN in the United States. Good return from Jannik right there with the forehand. 15-30. Big serve there from Jan Lennart. 40-15. Sinner out-acing Lennart Struff in this match. 13 aces for Jannik and 10 aces for Jan Lennart. It's a nice lob from Jannik there. Sliding lob. Sliding defensive lob over the backhand of Struff, who runs it down, runs around the ball, hits a forehand. That's the correct way to round on a lob, by the way. None of that tweener stuff. But he overcooked that forehand. Misses it. Long. 40-30. Average serves, you want to know what the average serve speed? 132 for Struff, which is insane. First serve. Absolutely insane average speed from Struff. He's been throwing it down on the serve. 132 Struff, 124 Jannik. Second serve is like most players going to be in the same range. These are big servers, so it's a little bit higher, but Struff is 101, Jannik is 102. But Struff's quite significantly faster on average compared to Sinner. You can use VPN. Look, AI love. I'm sure there's things out there like that you can get, but I want an option where I can get every single match, where it's like safe. I don't have to worry about like it dropping out on me. I need it to be there so I can stream for like 4 or 5 hours if I need to, And also, a lot of that stuff is illegal, I thought. And I don't like doing illegal things. That's a nice point there from Jannik to start the service game. 15 love. Let's talk about serve percentages. Jannik is looking good at 66% first serves, 84% first serve points won, 48% second serve points won. And he's only dropped serve one time. Was that 2-1 game in the second set after he had broken at 1-1. That's the only time he dropped serve. Ooh, there's a half court forehand error from Jannik, 15-all. That's not something you see that frequently. Yeah, the forehand from Jannik Sinner is like, it's not top level. Nowhere near top level right now. Okay, interesting statistic is like the net points from Struff is 21 out of 31. It's 68%. I think Jan Lennart could be a little better, especially the game we got broken at. in the second set, he missed 2 volleys in a row. I remember that. So he's made some mistakes at the net, but still, I think it's a pretty good percentage. What is it, 68%, right? Where was that? Hold on. What's interesting in this one, it's a very low winner count from the baseline. In fact, Struff has hit 0 winners with his backhand so far. He has hit some, though, quality balls where he forced the error from Jannik for sure. But interestingly, Jannik, not that many winners either. Not as many as he normally gets. Just 2 winners off the backhand side so far. That's a nice serve, though. Ace's work. The serve is working, though. The first serve, for sure. It's been working all tournament. 40-30. Ace down to T at 30 all. Again, that doesn't show up in the stats necessarily, but Jannik has served well in clutch moments. How confident are you that Novak is going to win today? I don't know. I'm confident that he's going to win, but I don't underestimate FAA. But I do think he's highly capable of taking out Novak, but it's going to be a huge challenge. And nice touch there from Jannik. Big serve down the tee. Beautiful inside-out forehand drop shot winner. Sinner holds 2-1. Yeah, FAA, he can do damage today. I think the most important thing for Novak, and that's going to sound weird, but if he can keep this match short, if this turns into a battle, even if he wins, I think it's going to be difficult for him. Because he's had 3 matches that were 3 hours plus in this tournament so far. If he adds another one that's 3 hours plus, I think it's going to be too much tennis against Jannik. Yeah, but FAA could win. I don't think he's chanceless in this one. Especially like FAA has been very upset with his tennis this year. He hasn't been happy. He feels like he's underperformed. He's not played as well as his ranking suggests. Like he's been top 5, right? Fluctuating between 4 and 5 in the world. He hasn't played like it. So maybe he wants to prove, he wants to prove himself. He has that desire, deep desire. He's not satisfied. I think that's what's happening with FAA. But to take out Novak at Wimbledon and a best of 5, that's going to be tough. Yeah, you're going to really have to dig super, super deep to take Novak out. You have to go to the limit of your capabilities. Like even some of the guys that have beat Novak this year, like Draper at Indian Wells, that was such a brutal match. Draper had to throw everything at Novak to finally get him. And same with Fonseca. Fonseca had to play the match of his life and then some to take out Novak in that one. So FAA will have to do something like that, I think. It's unlikely that he'll do that, That's why I got Novak coming through it. Will you be live streaming the FAA match? Yeah, I will. Sure. The Prismish loss was pretty bad. Well, you have to listen to Novak too, though. He said he was injured and he wasn't feeling well in this one. And, in social media, it's right away, oh, he's a faker. He's faking injuries. He was that match, he was sick. There was something going on. And Dino did play really well and all that, but Novak came back from injury in that one. He was hurt. Don't know what it was that he was hurt with. And then in the particular match, he was sick. Some with his stomach or something. $15.30. Struff got to be careful here. Mini window for Jannik. Fonseca Novak was such a good match. I agree. Maybe that was like the best match of the year, maybe. I mean, you had those semifinals in Australian Open too. Like I'll for sure put it in the top 5 right now. I think it'll probably end up in my top 10 of the year match list. Big serve from Jan Lennart there, 30 all. Probably ate bad tacos. Tacos in Italy? I don't know about that one. Highly doubtful. And plus, Novak is gluten-free, so they better be gluten-free tacos. First serve miss from Struff. Second serve is opportunity right here for Jannik. And there's a monster forehand return from Jannik. Backhand cross court. Struff in trouble. Jannik cross court backhand. Inside in forehand. Squash shot Struff. Jannik cross court forehand. And Struff overcooks the forehand pass. Hits it long, 30-40. Is the return to set this rally up. Jannik absolutely demolished the return cross court. And from that moment on, Struff was in a tremendous amount of trouble. Jannik just pounding the ball. This is the Sinner that this is top level Sinner right here. This rally, that's top level Sinner. This is where people start like doubting that anyone can beat this guy. Yeah. Again, second serve from Jan Lennart. Let's see what Jannik does here. Will he blast? Will he go through the middle? He blasts to the forehand of Struff. And he overcooks a forehand there. Sinner staring at his box. Breakpoint saved. Is Djokovic still on the vegan diet? I don't even know if Djokovic was ever 100% vegan. I don't know if he was or not. I think he does consume dairy, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I know he's gluten-free. In accordance to his doctor in Serbia, they established that he, I don't know, I mean, I don't know if he has celiac disease or not, but, and whether he's 100% vegan or not, I'm not sure. I don't know. A backhand error from Jannik. He goes down the line with a low percentage shot. Even for Jannik, he wasn't set well on that backhand. Off balance. There's a poor miss from Jannik there. Add in. Isn't it very weird that they keep putting Sinner on court 1? I guess, but you know, if you listen to the Fritz post-match interview yesterday, I think there's not a lot of difference between court 1 and center court. Like both courts are similar. And Fritz claimed that he doesn't even remember whether he played on 1 or center because the courts are so similar. Struff misses an inside-out forehand off a slice. Not the greatest shot selection there to go that hard off a slice. Back to deuce. Only does Chevapis on Sunday. I don't think Djokovic is Chevapi. Backhand overhead winner from Struff. Smart lob from Sinner going over the backhand, but it wasn't deep. The ball wasn't deep enough there. Add in. I'll tell you one thing. Novak takes everything so serious. The guy does not play around. Recovery methods. He talked about his recovery methods. The guy has done everything. Every single recovery you can think of. The guy is so professional. He does everything he can. And that includes his diet as well, but I couldn't tell you what his exact diet is. And that's an incredible hole from Struff because Jannik Sinner on that one rally on deuce, he played so well. And then Struff won 2 baseline point rallies after that, which was very surprising, but it's a very clutch from Struff here. 2-all, he stays alive in this set. 5-3 Goff in the third. Wow. I did not think that Goff would beat Pegula. I really didn't. Big serve from Yannick, 15 love. Down the tee. Ace Sinner. Down the tee. 30 love. Sinner with 14 aces so far and a 67 overall first serve percentage. Excellent serve numbers from Yannick. And I say that, then he probably hits the worst serve of the day. The ball almost goes to the baseline on the first serve, second serve. And Struff overcooks the forehand. Long, love hold from Yannick, 3-2. It's funny that Yannick's serve has been on, but his ground strokes have been off. Yeah, I agree with you. It's usually a discrepancy we don't see because we see, like, in the past, Yannick's first serve percentage dipping and kind of the rest of his game maybe along with the first serve. Sometimes, not every time, of course. But if we go into depth here with the unforced errors, so far, Sinner made 18 unforced errors on the forehand and 16 on the backhand. Struff has made 19 on each. And I think in Struff's case, the unforced errors are more positive than Yannick's. So in other words, like Struff is blasting as a tactic. Maybe he's going out of his comfort zone, so he's expected to make more mistakes. But Yannick, he's not like, he doesn't need to play like that. He doesn't need to go out of his comfort zone. That's just how Yannick plays, and it's just been making more mistakes than usual. I had a feeling that it's more forehand errors, but it's pretty close, actually. 18 forehand, 16 backhand. And then winners, low for both. 5 forehand winners for Struff, 0 backhand winners, and 9 forehand winners for Sinner, and only 2 backhand winners. Goff, match point here on the Pegula serve, but they're still playing, so looks like, oh no, she won. Did she win? Did she win? She did. The semifinal of Wimbledon. Can you believe this? This is insane. Wow. Look at that. Playing the winner of Osaka Muchova. We all know the record that Coco has against Muchova. When she finally beat her somewhere. Where was it? She beat her in, wasn't it Stuttgart? Did she beat her? I don't know. In any case, Muchova does have a win over Coco. But it's like the head-to-head is like 6-1 Coco or something like that. Huge chance for Coco to go into the final of Wimbledon. That's the thing about Coco. Like, she'll sneak in a Grand Slam. That's she's going to end up with 10 slams by the time she's done. I'm sure of it. She is such a champion. It's amazing. And like this whole year, far away from her best. Like, not even close. Okay, let's lock in here. Love 30 on the Struff serve. Sinner with a window for a break. Second serve. It's a nice point from Struff there. Beautiful point. Nice forehand approach shot, and then knocks off that backhand volley cross court into the open court. 15-30. Yeah, somebody's saying like it's going to be hard for Sinner to find the brace against Fritz if he doesn't raise his level. No, that's a straight set. If they play in the final, it's straight sets for Sinner. Straight sets. Trust me. Just like the US Open final. But Sinner is not worried about that right now. He's got Djokovic in the semis. Potentially that's going to be brutal. That's going to be a brutal match. He's got to get through that first. But Fritz will be far easier in the final. If Fritz plays really well, he might win one set. Same with FAA. If FAA ends up beating Djokovic in the semis and the quarters, he'll have to play really well just to win one set against Jannik. And again, Struff get himself out of trouble on the serve. From love 30 to 40-30 with some exceptional serving. You know, I'm not trying to be like mean. I'm just basing this on Sinner, how he plays in the most important stages. And yeah, he didn't do that well in the semis against Djokovic, but even there, he had like how many breakpoint chances in the fifth set? So he was close to winning that one too. It's just that Sinner will raise his game in the semis and final. Like that's what he does. He'll play better than he is now. So you can't judge like the way Sinner's playing even today or in the first or second round and expect him to play like that. Like when he faces Alcaraz, that's what the mistake that people make. They think, okay, either Sinner or Alcaraz are going to play like they did in the previous matches. No. They raise their level against each other in the final. And they play the best tennis of the whole tournament in the final. And that's what you have to take into consideration. On top of that, there's huge pressure in late stages. There's so many other factors. And yeah, I don't see Fritz beating Sinner in the Wimbledon final. I just can't see that. I just don't see that at all. Monster forehand from Struff there. Draws the error from the Sinner backhand. 15-all. Man, Struff can rip the forehand. It's crazy. He bodies that forehand. I agree, Anna. It's a big bummer that Djokovic was in the top half of the draw. I think that would have been a cool final. But on the other hand, it's a great opportunity for one of these other guys to make the final. And let's not underestimate Zverev. I think he's going to have a great chance to beat Fritz if he beats Lehečka today. I mean, I know I picked Fritz to go in the final, but I was going to talk about this later today. I got a kind of a feeling that Zverev might actually take out Fritz. Zverev has impressed me in the Wimbledon. Like, he's been better than I thought he would be. He's so solid, serving well. Like, I think I maybe read it a little too much into that Halle tournament where, Zverev lost to Fritz, but he wasn't in that match. Like his monitor was malfunctioning or something, and he didn't use the right medication, and he had no energy and wasn't feeling well. So that was in the first set. So the whole match, he was far away from his best physically, Zverev, and it was still so close to winning that one. So I don't know. That's going to be. It's not going to be forever that Fritz beats Zverev. Eventually, Zverev is going to beat Fritz again. Here's 30-all on the Sinner serve. Let's see if that big first serve comes out again. Misses wide, second serve. Chip from Struff. Cross-court forehand from Yannick. Cross-court forehand from Yannick again, and Struff misses a forehand. Yannick thought that Struff was going to go the other way, this way, but Struff just kind of held his ground, and Yannick played the ball right into the Struff racket. But Struff can't control the forehand, dumps it into the net, 40-30. Don't necessarily think it was right into the racket. I still think Struff moved a little bit to get to that forehand, but he stood on the same side. Yannick was expecting to wrong foot him. 40-30. What about Zverev Koboli remaking the semis? I can see it. And guess what? I can see Koboli going to the final too. I can completely see that. Sinner with the hold, 4-3. I can so envision the Koboli Zverev semifinal. Wait, I've been wondering if this is the same Anna that you've been coaching. No. No, the other two Annas that are in my videos, they don't watch tennis. Actually, the new Anna might. She might be watching, but they're not in the chat. Definitely not. I think this Anna, I don't know. I don't want to dox her, but she doesn't live in the United States, I don't think. David Goldberg, I don't know actually. The amount of calories burned in an ATP set, burn calories is such a complex thing. I actually made a video on burn calories. I did like a lot of preparation for that video, and it depends on so many different factors. Calorie burns. It depends on your age, depends on your genetics. It depends on what type of exercise that you do. That's very important because the body gets accustomed to what you're doing as far as exercise, and you burn less and less calories doing that exercise. So in the case of tennis, it's like these guys, this is all they do. So I'm sure they burn a lot less than the average player would burn doing the same thing. Then of course there's differences in like sex, height, body weight. All this plays a factor into calorie burn, and just to put like a generalization on calorie burn, it's a huge mistake. If you type in, if you go like a little bit more into details, some of the studies about calorie burns, you'll find out that like a lot of this stuff, the devices to measure the calories, every single one of them is highly inaccurate. Because you would have to plug in so many data points for it to be accurate, and you just can't. It makes no sense to come up with any type of numbers for tennis and apply it across the board. But I'll just tell you this, like tennis is a very good sport. It's one of the best. There are some studies suggesting that it's even good for your brain. And it's a sport that you can do for the rest of your life. You can always play doubles and, SimCity, read up on the calorie thing. There's a great article in the New York Times, a couple of them. You'll see it's the calorie thing. That's a tricky thing to calculate. Really tricky. $15.30 again on the Struff serve. Pressure again. Let's see if Struff can survive. Will he finally drop serve? He overcooks a forehand there. Looks like an off-center shot. 15-40, 2 breakpoint chances for Yannick. Let's see what Struff does. How does he get out of this jam? Because this certainly would be the end of the match right here. Sinner breaking a 4-3. Although didn't he drop serve against Brooksby in the third? Serving for the match at 5-3. He did, I think. Yeah. And then broke him at 5-4. If I remember correctly. Brooksby was on fire on the return during that third set. Broke Sinner twice. And Yalena comes in. Backhand volley, cross court works. Draws the error from Yannick. I got to say, Yannick has not been passing well today. Some of that is due to the excellent net attacks from Yelena, for sure. But just generally, I think Yannick could have done a better job passing today. Made quite a few mistakes. Second serve. Yannick with the inside-out forehand. Backhand down the line. I was looking for that backhand. I haven't seen it in a long time. Inside-out forehand. And there's the break. That combo of shots, you know, we're so used to seeing that, especially in the clay court season. We saw a lot of it. It's Yannick ripping the down-the-line backhands. I haven't seen it that much. And when he's done it, he's made mistakes. So on this particular break point, though, Yannick clutch. Nice backhand down the line. Then an inside-out forehand rip. Struff runs it down but can't get the defensive lob into play. 5-3. Yannick serving for the match. And Struff over hits the forehand long. 15-love. Nick, what would you rate yourself as a tennis player? Oh, out of 10? Like not an actual rating, but out of 10? Like a right now? Not good. 1 out of 10. I'm not feeling good right now on the court. Really, really bad. I've not played a lot of tennis in the last 6 months. And a nice forehand from Sinner there. Putting the pressure on Struff. Drawing the error, 30-love. True Tennis Vibe, thank you for bringing that up. When you discuss Sinner in the heat, you have to acknowledge when he does well in the heat. And certainly today was, what, 85 degrees? And he seems fine physically, so just acknowledge that. If you think Sinner has a lot of problems in the heat, acknowledge all the times he does well in the heat. Like all the tournament that he's won in the heat and all the matches that he's won in the heat. $40, $30, $15. Humidity is the killer. Yannick has been in the final of Miami 4 times in the humidity. Yes, it's not as hot in March in Miami as it is now, but still, the humidity is high in March too. And Yannick was in 4 times in the final of that tournament. Unreal. Hold on a second, that's so annoying. Yikes. 40-15, 2 match points for Sinner. A big serve right there. Into the backhand off Struff. Whoever hits the backhand return, it's a straight set victory for Jannik. I said it was going to be 3 tight sets, and ended up being 2 tight sets. The third set was the best set from Jannik. He raised this level a little bit. He will continue to have to raise this level for the rest of his tournament. And I can say that every match that Jannik has played, he's played a little bit better in each one. For sure. You know, Borges was better than Kecmanovic. Brooksby was better than Borges. Mochizuki was better than Brooksby, and Struff was better than Mochizuki. Again, not the highest level from Sinner yet, but if he plays Djokovic, he'll have to raise his level. He knows that, and he will raise his level. So we shall see. Again, important to note, as we said before, conditions were brutal, but I think physically, Jannik Sinner is looking good. I don't think it's a factor at all for Jannik. I think he's going to have plenty of energy left in the tank for the semifinal. And even if it's hot on that particular day, I think Jannik is going to be okay. I think if he plays Djokovic, the fact that Djokovic has been on the court, has 3 matches, 3 hours plus, and if he has a long match again today against FAA, I think that's going to come back to bite Novak, because if that match becomes physical against Sinner, there's a chance that he'll run out of steam, in the third set or something like that. That has happened quite often for Novak, sometimes even sooner. It's happened in pretty much every time he's played Sinner in the semis or Alcaraz in the last 2 years, with the exception of this year Australian Open. Novak was fresh, but he also played only 2 sets with Musetti and got a withdrawal from Menchik. So that helped him for sure. So I think it's important for Novak. Well, first and foremost, no disrespect to FAA. Like, that's a big-time player, top 5 player. You have to play your best. And it's not a guarantee that Novak will win. But I'm just talking about his chances against Sinner. If he can win in straight sets, then I would give him a good chance in the semis. But right now, I got Sinner in the semis against FAA for sure, but even against Djokovic. I think Sinner is going to find his top level here for sure. So we got lucky that Djokovic is going to play after Lehechka Zverev, who are playing right now. I think they're going on the court right now, so we don't have to dual stream. We can take a little break here and then be right back for Djokovic FAA. Let's take a quick look at the stats of this match before I log out of here. And I'll tell you a couple of interesting things, okay? So Sinner finished with 16 aces. Struff had 12. Sinner had a 66% first serve percentage. Struff only 53. So I think Jannik was getting some looks on the Struff serve more than normal. I think Jannik played a great match, but Sinner was able to break in each one of the sets, right? Yeah. He did drop his own serve in the second set, but Sinner broke in every single set. 5-all in the first. He broke at 1-all in the second, and then he broke. When was that? He broke at was it 4-3? Yeah, he broke at 4-3 in the third. So 1 in each set. So Jan-Lennard sure could have served a little bit better. Double faults, 2 for Sinner, 3 for Jan-Lennard. Those are normal numbers over the course of 3 sets. Average first serve speed, Sinner 124, Struff 132. Second serve 102 Sinner, 103 Struff. Okay, let's look here at the net points won. Sinner was 9 out of 16. It's all right. It's not bad. And Struff was 26 out of 37. So Struff came in a lot, won a lot of points at the net. Wasn't perfect at the net, but I think he Struff applied the right tactics, which leads me into the unforced errors, which are pretty high for both. But again, I think it's the correct strategies for it's the correct strategy for Struff. Like, he committed 24 unforced errors on the forehand, 20 on the backhand. But while this might seem high, what is that? 44 unforced errors. I think it's the correct tactics. Those are good errors in my book. Not of course, not all of them, but you get my point. He played the right way against Jannik, but just couldn't execute, couldn't pull it off all the way. And Jannik, definitely more errors than normal, like 20 on the forehand, 16 on the backhand. I think that's been true for most of his matches. A few more errors on the forehand side than the backhand. So that's 36 unforced errors from Jannik. Again, not a perfect match, but he was clutch, like he always is, and managed to come through. So, guys, I'm going to let you go here. I'm going to get ready for Djokovic against FAA. I'm going to watch Lehechka Zverev, see how that turns out, and I'll see you guys in the next one, okay? You guys take care.
you.